Welcome to the Wellness on Tap podcast with your host, Dr. Debs Eastwood.
Yeah, so we can sort that out for you because that's a really nice thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it'd be lovely, but it doesn't matter if not. It's just great just to get the opportunity just to talk as well.
Oh, I'm delighted you're here. I'm really delighted because I want to know more about what we were talking about when we were on that Zoom call. I don't know when it was. It was a couple of months ago now, maybe, I think.
I
can't really remember.
Yeah.
But I was so intrigued about what you were doing because it seemed in my mind to bring together quite a few different things. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. I want to know more about this. So what exactly is it that you're putting together?
I would say it's, without sounding too cheesy, but like a blueprint or a formula. I've been on like a spiritual and personal healing path for a long time myself, and I've tried lots of different modalities. And I think they've all been amazing. They've all been great. But throughout the journey, I don't know, a bit like that shiny magpie sort of thing. Oh, I want to go and do this, and I want to go and do that, or I need to do this. You know, if you're having a really sort of difficult time and need to do the healing. And while they're all wonderful, I've realised that there is a blueprint, there is something underneath it. And I think, especially with this new awakening that we've had recently, and I see a lot of, the people going for the spiritual highs, the getting caught in the healing loops. And it's about how do we bring all of that together? Because underneath all of that, the essence really is just returning back home to ourselves. And and I think that's sometimes can get a little bit lost or a little bit frightening if we're stuck into healing and thinking, how am I going to get through this? Or we have, there's all the manifesting thing that all came out with The Secret, and people often are really frustrated that they're not actually getting anywhere with it. And it's because all of these things work together. They all work, but there's got to be some kind of understanding and a framework around it so that we internalize the healing, we integrate it, and we don't bypass it, and really sort of think about what we want on the reality, not what is expected of us. So it's really a sense of coming home, and just I hope to offer people some tools while they're on that journey, especially if they're in them dark places where they're crippled with anxiety and having panic attacks, and to move them, to be able to help them move through that, to be able to give them the tools. And then also not just to not have the panic attacks anymore, but then to be able to think, I can have a life. Where am I going to go? What do I want to do? I just love that. And then so I've brought it all together, the past, the present and the future, because for me, I think they're all important. Whereas I think some modalities might they focus on one or the other, which is right. We need each modality, but it's just offering a different way of seeing it, so that you can the awareness, what's going on here, let's do the healing around this, and then where do I shift myself from the healing to move to the alchemy? How do I turn this pain into gold? How do I turn this into something positive and mean something? So that's why I did it. I always had this past, present and future thing rattling inside of me after doing all of the different pieces of work.
I think that's really important, because we do hold on things from our past, don't we?
Yeah.
Maybe without even knowing it.
Yeah.
Generational trauma, for instance, even if it's not in our own personal past.
Yeah. It's in every layer of us, in our physical, emotional, our spirit. It's in every layer. And I think so in the healing element, we go through each of those layers, our thoughts, our feelings, how they're programmed, our nervous system and our reactions to trauma. So, and that's where the awareness comes from, because it's a gift to be aware of those things, a gift to be aware of what's happening so that we can resolve it and move through it.
Yeah, I agree. So why is the next question? Why has this become a thing for you?
Where would I start with it? So
wherever you like, my darling.
So it can be a long. So I'll go right back from the beginning then. It's 17. I was out partying a lot, using probably 16, 17 actually. And I was probably in places that I shouldn't be at that age, and in states that I shouldn't have been in. And that's all to do with my past trauma as well. But I didn't know that. I was just a teenager out having fun, but it was really exaggerated fun, really. A friend had come out with me for one night, but 2-3 nights later, I might still be out there.
Right,
yeah.
Really partying.
Oh, yeah, I was. And mixing with people who I thought were wonderful, but in my world that I've since been in social work, I realised how sort of vulnerable and at risk of exploitation I was back then. But it didn't seem like that to me at the time. It was lovely. And I was taking a lot of recreational drugs as well. And I was in sixth form, but it wasn't going right. I was going down that hill kind of thing. But at the same time, I was also, I don't know if the universe started calling me then. So I'd come back out of it. I'd start getting loads of really strange synchronicities and lots of things happening to me. So I think my mind had opened on that pathway. Lots of clairvoyance, lots of
Interesting.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Yeah, I just kind of know things before they'd happen. I'd have magical experiences. And at 17, I just didn't know what to make of it. And I just used to call it what is this? And I could feel an energy around. And I met a couple of people who also were experiencing it. And we used to just play with it, play telepathy games.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it was yeah. We were all a bit high sometimes when we were doing it.
That's going to help.
But we really loved it. We managed to, we realised there was something more to our human reality. Even if we were using substances, it was really clear that there was magic. We'd play quite a lot with that. And I just found this magic and I loved it. And I'd read a book. It led me to reading books like Mind Magic by Betty Shine and some real oldies like that. But then I settled down quite young with my partner, and I was pregnant at 19. I left home at 17. And again, that's due to some of the stuff that happened to me when I was younger and a fallout with my stepdad. So I moved out and I was on my own at 17. And at first that was great for the couple of years. But when I was pregnant, towards the end of the pregnancy, I think I had what was my first panic attack. And that just sort of came and went. I just put it down to being pregnant and not really sure what it was because we didn't really know back in them days. This was in 97.
No, we didn't.
So, and you didn't have the internet to find out what was going on as well. So, and I just, because I still loved all of that stuff, I bought the book. I remember us going to Medwall to get a few baby bits, and I bought the Louise Hay, You Can Heal My Life. You Can Heal Your Life. And that book became a Bible because after I had my daughter, I started having really, really severe panic attacks and anxiety. And I started to have memories, flashbacks from things that had happened to me. But it was kind of the day before that didn't exist, and all of a sudden that was happening. So I really thought I was losing my mind. I didn't know what was happening to me, where they were coming from. These things would hover over my head and then just come out and then they'd be gone again. And It was really scary.
Oh goodness, that was the word that was in my mind. That sounded really scary.
Yeah, it was. And I mean, I had Shannon, my eldest, to just hold, and just she, I just used to stare at her so that I could be present and be here. But as time went on, and I'd go to the doctors and I'd start to think, something isn't right here. There's something in what these memories are. And that took me on a journey. And so the Louise Hay book was my Bible, because things were so dark there. That was so light, it just really helped me. And I think that changed from something that was where I felt that there was more to this life, the exploration into past lives and all of that was all a bit of fun. This then became really serious and real, and that spiritual fun became spiritual healing for me. And I tried a psychologist, I had a counsellor, I was going to the doctors, and it just, for me, felt like I was talking to a brick wall, but I was also frightened of talking to them about spiritual stuff, because I was already frightened that I was losing my mind. So then I was thinking that they might think that I'm losing my mind if I talk to them about spiritual stuff too, because it just really wasn't a big thing then at all.
It still isn't, is it? But
No.
hopefully eyes are a bit further open.
Yeah. And, you can, I think internet's hugely helping, and social media, just for that acceptance and the norm. But so that's really how it started and how I used the healing for me. And I really dug deep into it all. One, for my sanity. Two, to have a good life with my family. And then it was just a passion and a journey. It's just gone on and on and on. And I wanted to train in doing that. And I went on to I started at 21 with the Louise Hay, Love Yourself, Heal Your Life teacher training.
Oh, lovely.
And from then on, just carried on with that pathway and just trying different things. But it was always because I wanted to help other people go through what I'd been through. And it isn't corny or cheesy. It really was a thing. And I remember I had to speak to, there was one night really bad, and it was landlines back then. And Shannon had just got to sleep. And so I left her and Darren, I didn't want to wake him either. And I was having just the worst night. And I rang the ambulance people. And somebody on the phone was talking me through. And I can just remember him saying to me, what would you like to do? Career aspirations, I think he was asking me. And I don't know the exact words, but I just remember saying to him, if I can help just one person with this, it'll be worth it. And that sentence, and sitting back down against the wall with the phone, I still remember now. And it really has been like a driving force, because I found it really hard. And and all the knowledge I've found since, I think, God, if I'd have known that back then, half of that pain wouldn't have been there. It is that knowledge, it is that awareness, it is knowing how to heal and how to process that out as well, so that you can have a lovely life, and you can turn that pain into something beautiful. I know that it doesn't seem like it when you're sitting in the midst of it.
No, it doesn't, does it? No, you can't see any beauty, can you? But what a stroke of luck, or the universe intervening, probably more likely, that particular person picked up the phone when you made that 999 call.
Yeah.
Somebody so insightful and with the ability to really listen to what you were saying. And
I've never felt so calmed by anybody. And it was just somebody on the phone, and I can't remember much about it. I was clearly in a really bad way. It was in the middle of the night. But I really remember how calm I felt, and him asking me that, and that pivotal point. And suddenly it had meaning. The pain had a purpose. And although I didn't stop having the panic attacks, I didn't stop. It was a long time after, really, before I came round. I had a different mission within it, although I might not have called it a mission then. But yeah, it felt really different. I wanted to learn more so that I could do more. And I think that really took me on a deeper dive.
Yeah, for sure. So what modalities did you try after Louise Hay's?
So that all started because I was reading her book, and I was in a little village. Again, remember there was no internet back then, and I didn't think anybody had even heard of Louise Hay. And I fell down the stairs one day, and I had Shannon in my hand, so I banged my head, and I just needed to go to the doctors to go and check it out. And I just remember looking at the wall, and I saw a poster, and I was just checking my eyes like that to do it, and I saw a poster, Louise Hay workshop in Clayworth, which is a little village nearby, really little village. And I really thought, yeah, I really have got
really seeing things. Yeah, I really have got
Anyway, I got in touch, I got the number, and although that workshop never took place, I worked with that lady. She was a gorgeous lady. In her 60s at the time. She introduced me to Orosoma. She introduced me to the Louise Hay, which is then how I got on the course later. And I can always remember, she wasn't properly trained like the counsellor or the psychologist had seen, but she had life experience, and I just felt so safe and at ease with her as well. So, and I really think she really helped me be able to live for a couple of years. And I had another child. I was functioning, I was living, I was enjoying. But after Caitlin, my youngest, when she was 2, the person who caused a lot of the harm, I knew that he'd been into hospital and had been really ill. And it all started to come back. And because of my spiritual beliefs and being quite young at the time, I kept thinking, oh my God, can ghosts come back and see me? Can they see me in the night? And so my mind started playing other different kind of tricks. And that's the point I was reading a book, The Rainbow Journey, by Dr. Brenda Davis. This was about 2002, I think. And I just emailed her. It was when emails were brand new, and she answered me the day after, and I went to go and see her, and it was incredible. So I worked with Brenda. I travelled to London, and I saw her because she's a psychiatrist, but a spiritual psychiatrist. So she was everything in one. And I worked with her on a one-to-one for my own healing. And then I went through her school for quite a few years after as well. So that was my next thing, going through all the energy system with her. And she really made it grounded, made you understand the impact of trauma. And I felt really safe with that. I'd been doing the bits of Reiki, reflexology and things in between that, but this felt a really core, interesting and grounded approach to healing and safe, yeah.
Does the rainbow have anything to do with the chakras?
Yeah, so each colour represents one of the chakras, so it was the rainbow journey. So she really took us into a deep dive into... We had a full weekend on the root, full weekend on the sacral. Yeah, we had to go all the way through it before she would then take you to the school to teach you how to do it. So it was really intense. But I think that lady just, she changed my life. Yeah, she did.
That sounds wonderful, that level of attention to detail and the nuances of it all must have been fascinating.
Oh, it was, because of her medical background and things as well. As you'll know, it would just all link so beautifully with the energy system and how she would explain things. And because she'd gone on to psychiatry as well, I really processed a lot with her and felt so safe. And it was because of her. And because I've been to some other people where I'd felt really a bit nervous, I think people mean well in the healing world. I really do. This isn't a slant against anyone, but it's very easy to work in that field with very minimal qualifications that we can get online in a day. But when you're working with people who've really got a lot of trauma, I just think you really have to know what you're doing, what kind of worms that you might be opening, and how to hold the space for people with that. So then I did my more normal learning and did my psychology degree, and then went on to do my master's and work in social work. I was surprised I ended up in social work, but I enjoyed that. So, yeah. So then in between that, I've always done different courses, so I feel like I've married the two together, which is what I loved what Brenda Davis had done, because I think if anybody had just said the wrong thing to me back when I was having panic attacks, even by care or just them wrong words, or that it could have escalated, and there was times when that had happened. And so I just wanted to always know if I was going to be working with people that I had the right qualifications and the right experience to do it.
And the right way to heal yourself, I should imagine, in your current role.
Yeah.
So obviously no details, but I should imagine you come across quite a few situations that are difficult for anybody to be in, for, that you have to work through in your current job role. Yeah,
definitely. So it was, I guess, really throughout, and I look back now and I can see maybe why, and again, this has given me the purpose. But with me, my real dad, he was an alcoholic and he was violent too. There was lots of domestic abuse in the household. We had about 10 different houses before I was, lived in 10 different places before I was 10. And then as my mum found her new partner, it was out of the frying pan into the fire, really, in very different kind of abusive situations. And so the journey, I feel as though there's not much people can say to me that I haven't experienced myself.
Right.
And I hope that that's a gift, to people. And I don't say, oh, yes, that happened to me, of course. But it's just, I can hold that space. Yeah. And I really can say, you can make it better. Because I really know that you can. I really know that I don't have panic attacks. I really know I don't have anxiety. I really know that I've healed. And I could share openly more of what happened, but it's not for everybody to hear, and it's not for them. But I'm just saying that because it's evidence to what you can go through and come out the other side with the right support and the right help and being guided in the right way. Yeah.
So what elements of the healing have you put in your course then?
So my first pillar is awareness, because for me, in this pillar, it's about creating a safe container. So I'll know in building the awareness. I've kind of, the visual that I've got for awareness is the soul compass. So within the compass, in the middle is the I am. And then there's 4 points of the compass, just so that it's easy to visualize. Yeah. And the way that I'll be asking people to go through it is, first of all, finding the present moment. Because, we tend to either live in the past or in the future, which leads to depression or anxiety. And we go through that process so we can understand the I ams in the middle. And we've got around it, the nervous system regulation, the thoughts going to past and present. Then we've got the thoughts, feelings, cycle, and how that creates our actions. And then we've got the energy. So it's just kind of all of these things that might impact upon the I am in the middle, and how to hold that. And when we've got that nervous system regulation, and we know I've got a few tools to be able to work through that, then I know that people have got that bit of safety, and then we can move a bit more into the healing. So if anything comes up for them, I know that they're there.
That's a really important place to start.
Yeah, it really is. It is for me.
I can see why, and I completely agree with you, because if you don't feel safe in an environment, you're not going to put enough of yourself into it by being open and vulnerable. And so in my mind, therefore, you're not going to get as much out.
Yeah. Yeah. It really, yeah. And your nervous system, you don't know when that triggers, when it pulls you. You know, I know everyone says that your beliefs create everything, but I think that nervous system creates your beliefs as well, because there's some sort of real unconscious programming in there, isn't there, with how that works. So, yeah, so that's the awareness plus. I would really look at how each of them areas and how to work with them so we can understand and learn to be in the presence of I am, so that we put that distance between ourselves and our thoughts. So we don't, just because we think something doesn't mean it's true. And it's really powerful when you start working with that. So, and then the healing, we do there's lots of different kind of ways of doing it. Breathwork is one of the main things. I just love breathwork. I just think it's
it's great, breathwork.
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah. It's just the gift, isn't it, that keeps on giving breathwork. It really is.
And it's one thing in our lives that we can absolutely control.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's there. It's the first thing we do and the last thing we do, isn't it?
Yeah.
So there's something. Did you know in some countries it means, the breath means, the word is spirit?
Oh.
Yeah, I was taught that. I've never Googled it to check, but I thought how beautiful that is. Yeah, because it is the breath. It's like our spirit, isn't it? It's
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So that's one of the fundamental healing tools. Do different parts of shadow work, just integrating things that we might have decided that we don't like in ourselves or we've hidden, and just gently nurturing that in a child, looking at the energy system. That's always at the core of what I do anyway. I think because of all the years with Brenda, it's just instantly where I go. I'd say that was my skeleton for anything really. Yeah. But again, in the healing, I kind of think of it as the elemental gates. So just again, so that we've got that kind of visual. So air, your thoughts and feelings, what's going on there for you, the water, the emotions, what's in your spirit, what does your spirit say about this, and your body, the earth. Wonderful. So we look at all of that, so we've got the full covering for what's going on. And the alchemy's, you know, I think I really got stuck in what you call a healing loop. I think when I was doing all of that healing work, and I was doing it for so many years, even the bits in between what I did with Louise Hay and Brenda, I was always looking at things to kind of do, so that I think I started to think that maybe there was always something to fix. If there was anything bad that went wrong in my life, I thought it was karma. I still wasn't, doing things right. It must be something from a past life. It was all trauma thinking, but it did keep me in a loop. Everything that happened was always, okay, I need to heal this, I need to heal this. And when the law of attraction came out, a bit later, that was huge, wasn't it, when that first came out? And I started to learn the concepts of the law of attraction, the law of vibration. I was thinking, well, if I'm always thinking, what do I need to heal? What am I attracting into my life? Things to heal.
Yes.
So that shifted me quite a lot into that
Wonderful.
way. Yeah. But I also found in that world there was a lot of people saying you don't think of anything negative, you just think positively. It's all in your mind. You've got to. And I think that sounds good, but how, like for me, I didn't know that I was carrying what I was carrying till I had my daughter, and there it was. It was like one day I felt like I was a normal person, the next day, no, you've had all of this. So, and there must be something in it. So in each of the elements, I've kind of thought, well, this doesn't work in isolation. If I just keep doing healing, I'm just going to keep doing healing. If I keep just looking at the law of attraction and I don't look at anything that might need healing or what's going on in me, these are going to influence this, and it's just not going to happen, which is why you've always got these people who, well, I manifested this, I did this right, I did that, but actually it's not happening because there's a whole process. And I love the meditation, I love the I am, I love the present moment. But again, on its own in isolation,
not enough.
Yeah, because we are human.
Yeah.
And we want to live a life. We've got aspirations, we've got dreams, we've got things that we want to do. There's no, I know that the ideal is that we're just happy and content with everything, but part of the human spirit is to grow, is to develop, and is
a bit restless, a bit needing, to do more, give more, be more.
Yeah. So that's why I've put them all together in the way that they have, so that we have all of the different, that coaching style, law of attraction to move forward, the healing and the awareness, but bridging them all together in a way that's people can think, okay, what's going on? What do I need to do? Where do I want to be? It's that simple. And in each pillar there's tools, but I don't want to ever say these are just the right tools, because, and if you're stuck in, it's not saying don't go and enjoy your gong bath. It's not saying don't go enjoy your sound bath. It's know what you're using it for and enjoy it. Yes, it's not just static for what I have and what I can share with people. I'd love when the course gets up and running to have other people come in and share their modalities and, tapping or different kinds of breathing, sound bath, and just recognize it for the amazing thing that it is, but also and keep the fun. But
that's important.
Yeah. And I think there's it. I was my thoughts went there a little bit as well, is I think as we've kind of had like another bit of a spiritual revolution and another awakening, as people call it, since the lockdown, I see there's a lot of highs, what I call like spiritual highs, and people searching for more and needing more, and going after things, and you get that high, but there's no point in having that high if life goes back to normal a few days later. It's about how do we integrate that as well. So it's just bringing it back so you do enjoy it and you do get that high, but we're not forever chasing it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, to make it work for you almost.
Yeah, it's not meaningful.
Yeah.
Yeah, because and I think people want that higher and higher vibe. Maybe that's just a sense that I found, but right, we'll try the gong baths, we'll try some mushrooms, we'll try some ayahuasca, we'll try some breath work, and that was amazing, and moving on to the next thing, which is wonderful. And there's lots of things that we can try at different times. Yeah. But if you're just looking for that, we're not doing the I am. We're not staying grounded. We're not staying. So that's what I'd like to bring forward.
That's wonderful.
As a journey, how beautiful it can be.
Yeah. I love the way you've embroiled it within the elements.
The healing.
Yeah, I think that's really unique.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know how it came about, really. It was just that I just wanted it to be something what does cover each part of us. And I think, well, the elements demonstrate that beautifully, don't they? That watery emotions. And I think it's with my breath work as well, because the conscious connected breath in particularly, it's I think it just does everything, physical, emotional, mental and spiritual, that lovely connection. So I think that's where I got it from. Each of those, people are either crying or they're having that physical release, and we're earthing and we're banging the tea, or whatever. So it came from that. And then the alchemy, I just call the Phoenix Path, really, just because.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and I've toyed with it. I didn't want it to. I really like the balance of having the science behind the spiritual, and that I think that comes from my trauma background or whatever. I just really like to know that everything's grounded and done properly and got that bit of science behind it, even though I am like really, really woo-woo as well. and I love all the magical and the mystical. But I think so I want it to come across in that way. So I did worry if the phoenix sounded like two, but I just love that sort of sense of it rising, and because that's what we do. And how many times have we come through something and you just feel that all shedding off and just rising and stepping into your power. So the alchemy is really about that, stepping into our new power after we've shedded all of that, and then
get rid of all the rubbish.
Yeah,
like the phoenix rising from the ashes. It's burnt all it down, all that rubbish that's not serving you.
Yeah, and you can be free to be you again. Yeah. And that.
Why was it then, before your move towards this, that social work drew you in, do you think?
I think I do sometimes think now that it might have just been like a belief in me, but I never felt like I knew enough or was good enough to do this work yet. And I think I kept thinking, get proper training, and I think that's why I've always done another course and felt
Aren't we all guilty of that?
And I think, I remember Brenda, she used to have quite big circles when we used to, there used to be about 25 of us and we'd work together for that couple of years. We'd be in the school journey together. And in there, we had solicitors and really like business people and stuff. And I used to think, you're teaching me all this. I can't sit in a room with people like this and not gently challenge, in a way for growth. And I just wouldn't have had that confidence or ability to do it. And so sometimes when I think now of why social work, and I think of what you have to do as a social work, it just dawned on me one day. I was in court and thinking, I'm challenging the solicitors here. I go to school and challenge them, doctors in a professional way. Yeah. And it just made me smile and made me think this was definitely something that I'd manifested, because I never believed that I could do that and hold my own with different people. It was a lack of confidence. And I think social work has really given me that. And now I'm in practice development and I train newly qualified students and also help with people through their progression and quality and things like that. And I think that it all helps, because that's really helped me now step into teaching online, and because I do a lot of teaching there. So wonderful. I do think they've woven together over time, and I love bringing wellbeing into work as well. So I do a lot of that as well. I tone it down and call it. I'm going to
say, what sort of things do you bring in?
So mindfulness, really, and that was, I started it a few years ago, and I used to be a term of endearment, but I used to get called fluff for it. So like social work, you're just kind of like working long hours, you just get on with it, But actually there's a lot of burnout and compassion fatigue. And I think people cover that up in, just putting that badge of honour on their arm that they've said, I've done a 15-hour shift and things, and you just see it. And what I see there is everybody is coming from the fight or flight.
Oh, that's not sustainable.
No, it isn't. So I do bring in mindfulness just to anybody who will listen, who will bring it in and just try to find creative ways of working with people. I do coaching in work as well. So they've really let me kind of go free a little with it. And I've done a few presentations where I just talk about maybe being the circuit breaker. And I talk about how we can have our children and our families here. And then we have our frontline workers and our office workers, and we have the management, and then we have senior management, and then we have Ofsted, the governing body. And then so we've got them putting pressure down onto our SLT, to our managers, to our social workers. So, well, all these people going off social care, because it's not just social workers, how are they meeting our children and families? Full of adrenaline and cortisol and pressure. So everybody down here is in the fight, flight, freeze response. What are our children and families in? They've got social workers knocking at the door. There's something clearly not right in their life anyway because of having that service. So they're at fight, flight, freeze. They're in that nervous system response. So then it goes back up. So it's just a chain filled with all of this reactiveness and pressure and busyness. And so I've tried to teach about being the circuit breaker in that, just taking that few deep breaths just before you go into that home or when you have supervision and you've got that time together. Because actually, if you just stop and regulate yourself with a few deep breaths, it can change and you can go into creative thinking and you can think more clearly about a plan instead of just reacting to an emergency situation. You can see it from a different perspective. So that's the kind of thing how I like to bring it into work, really.
I like that because often, what did I read the other day? Don't be reactive, be responsive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which some people always say that's the same thing. No, it's not. A reaction's more of a gut feeling, emotional, potentially.
Yeah.
Whereas response is a bit more considered. That's my opinion of it anyway.
That's what I believe it to be as well. When you're reacting, and we do, and we can be very well equipped to do that. We're made to do it. So if there happened to be a fire here, we might react very quickly and we'll act in that nervous system response to be able to get out of the door to be safe, and then we can calm. But when you're working in that all the time and that stress starts to like peak over into dangerous like sort of side of the hill of stress, then when you're reacting to situations in families' lives instead of responding, we need to be that person to take a step back and think, okay, let's not get caught up in this now. I know sometimes we have to, but the busyness of that world and that work is so hectic that I don't believe that everyone can just stop and get into it's just from one to another. You're just firefighting. Yeah.
I don't know how you do that job. I take my hat off to you.
Yeah. Well, I haven't done the job itself now for a number of years because I've gone into the other side, but I am doing that with the qualified and things. And I enjoy what I do now. And it gives me the ability to do, because this is more of a time job. It's not working with children and families where you wouldn't necessarily know what time you finish and you'd be, sort of still need to do stuff in the night to be ready for the next day. I have got a more manual hours now where I can work them. So, I can put a breath work on if I want to, or I can do the course. So I'm flitting between the two now, really.
How lovely to be able to have that, you've got the experience of doing that, but you're now able to help the current people there deal with the very evident stresses and strains that comes with a job.
Yeah, and ensuring quality as well. I do a lot of quality in that role as well, because what we do really matters. Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So when your course pops out, then tell me a tiny little bit about the structure of it. It's going to be online, you said?
Yeah, it will be online, and it will be a 16-week program. So, and it'll be 4 weeks for each pillar with integration weeks in between as well. So we'll go through the soul compass so that we know that we've got that that safety and that understanding of the I am as to where we want to be. And then we have the deep work in the middle, and then we go into the alchemy. But all the way through, there'll be this thread where we're always looking, okay, aware, heal, alchemize. Yeah.
Sounds wonderful.
Steps. Okay.
I wish you all the best with it.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it feels like a baby I've had inside of me, ready to give birth to for a long time. It's been bubbling. Life has just maybe got in the way. My children have now left home. So everything just feels right now.
The time is right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
I can tell just by looking at you that you're going to be giving this absolutely your all, and that there has been a lot of work gone into it. It shines out of you that it's a passion.
It is, yeah. It feels like it's best. Yeah, I can't hold it in. Sometimes it's just I get so excited, and then the fear comes a little bit, and it's like, oh dear, But no, I really, yeah. And I think I've worked through the fear of maybe people don't like it, but I have since worked. I've been doing one-to-one with a few people. I've done all of the work anyway, separately, but to bring this course out, and I've been working, and it's just been magic. And the feedback that I've had, and in a very short space of time, to have somebody who, she has given me testimonials anyway. They all have. Was crippled with panic attacks and anxiety, to now thinking of what she wants in life and working towards it. It feels amazing. So I've put it out there. If it's received, it's received. If not, I just couldn't keep it in anymore. Just wanted to get out.
I think a lot of things need that. They need the passion and the personification that you've given it. People will be able to feel that, I'm sure, in the course that isn't present in every single course that's out there, is it?
I don't think it is. No.
I think we've done enough of them between us to be able to say no.
Yeah, I don't want to dismiss anybody else's
Absolutely
work.
not. But
yeah, I do. I just know that this feels like I'm meant to do it, and if it just goes nowhere, it doesn't matter, because it was just something that I felt that I needed to share from my journey that's worked. And from all of the different things I have, it's all the things that have worked the best, and that I know that have got that why they work as well, and how we can work through that. So it can work with anybody who is, like I say, struggling with panic and anxiety, but it also anybody who's got grief, or just people who've been on this path a long time and thinking, well, I keep doing this and I keep doing that, but I'm still the same, and I feel amazing when I come back off that retreat, but then life just gets back to normal.
Yeah.
And it's that integration, and it's that whole kind of like process of doing it. So yeah, that's the gift that I hope I can give. Yeah.
I'm sure I see a book coming out of this as well.
I've started writing.
Yeah. No, I just knew it.
Yeah.
That just came to me. It was just like, I see a book.
Thank you. Yeah. And again, if it goes, no, it doesn't matter, but at least I've been part of it. Have you ever had that feeling, and possibly so with your podcast, where you just can't keep it in anymore? It has to come out. Yeah. So it doesn't matter what the universe does with it now. It's just got to come out.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be divine. So thank you for coming and sharing it with me.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me.
Oh,
I loved it.
Anytime. You've got to come back, and when you've done your first full run.
Oh, I'd love to.
Do a debrief.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I look forward to that.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon.
Yeah. Thank you.